Come down onto your mat, get nice and comfy, stepping your feet to a good comfortable distance towards the outer edges of your mat. But then once you've got your feet there, let your knees drop in and see how that feels. So I like that proportion, my feet to the outer edges of my mat. But for some of us, it might feel better to be a little closer. And for some of us, it might feel better to be a little further apart. So play around with the spacing of your feet so that your knees land in a way that feels really restful. And what we want to try to achieve here is just kind of a letting go in the front pocket area. So we want to let the front of our hips have a soft place where they can just chill out a little bit. Once you've got your legs arranged, let your arms find a comfortable position, whatever that means to you. And then just give everything a second to settle in. Giving your physical body a few moments here just to soften and settle in, get nice and heavy into your mat. Maybe just take a quick little assessment. Notice your feet and your toes. Can you let your toes be soft? Notice your calves and shins. Let them be soft and heavy. Knees are in towards each other, hopefully supporting each other, so not a lot of efforting in your knees and your thighs. Hips soft and heavy. Belly soft and heavy. Chest soft and heavy, arms soft and heavy. And then just tune in and notice your jaw. So if your teeth are touching or if you're closing your mouth with a little bit of effort, see if you can maybe let your teeth separate, let your tongue soften away from the roof of your mouth. Allow your jaw to soften. Soften the space between your eyes. With the soft, heavy position of the body, tune in and notice the floor or the solid ground beneath you. And then maybe for a moment here, just offer up a little bit of gratitude for the floor, the earth beneath you, all coming up to meet you and support you. Then tune your focus into the sides of your body. So maybe you notice the sides of your feet, the blade edges of your feet, the sides of your legs, the sides of your body, your belly, your rib cage, even the sides of your arms. And then just notice the space around the sides of your body. Maybe take a big breath in and see if you can just imagine your body expanding front to back and side to side. And then follow that idea of awareness of that space, but now notice the front of your body. So maybe the front of your face, your throat, your chest, your belly, the tops of your knees, the tops of your feet, and then just get a sense of that space above you. And then follow that space all the way up to the ceiling, and then trace that line of the ceiling to the walls around you, and then offer up a little bit of gratitude for the safe space that you have to work in. And then before we move away from this open space of gratitude, just take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. With that intention set, allow your awareness to come back to your breath. And as you become a little bit more alert or a little bit more aware, you might choose to just give a little wiggle to the fingers, a little wiggle to the toes, just so you feel like your body is a little bit more invigorated. But then let that come to a stillness, feet solid on the ground, hands soft and heavy. Focus back on your breath. Inhale through your nose. Just take a nice, generous inhale. Think about filling your lungs up. Exhale through your nose, nice and slow. Inhale through your nose, think about filling up the lungs. And if you can imagine, think about drawing the breath to the bottom of the lungs, that wider portion of your lung cavity, and then filling up all the way to the tops of the lungs. And then when you exhale, think about exhaling from the top of the lungs all the way to the bottom. Take one more breath just like that. Fill up down to the bottom of the lungs, all the way up to the top. Exhale from the top of the lungs to the bottom. And now we'll add on to that focus of the breath. So as you inhale, fill up bottom of the lungs to the top, and then pause at the top of the breath. Hold and retain the breath for a moment. And then when you feel ready, exhale nice and slow, let all of that air go. When you feel ready, inhale, fill your lungs up, bottom of the lungs to the top. Pause at the top, hold or retain the breath. And then when you feel ready, exhale nice and slow. And do that one more time. Inhale, fill the lungs up, fill up to the bottom of the lungs, all the way up to the top. Pause and hold the breath at the top. And then when you feel ready, exhale nice and slow. And now see if you can find your ujjayi breath, or that ocean sounding breath, or victorious breath. So there's a light constriction in the back of the throat, or a little bit of constriction in the soft palate of the mouth. So you're breathing in through the nose, and it makes a slightly audible sound like an ocean. This does not have to be super loud so that somebody across your house can hear you. It can be just loud enough that you can hear the sound of your breath. So you find that little constriction, which almost feels like you're breathing your breath heavily into a mirror. So you're making a little bit of fog. So if you can find that little bit of that lift or constriction at the back of your throat, breathe in through your nose, find that slightly audible breath. Breathe out through the nose and find that slightly audible breath. And then throughout your practice, if you can find that ujjayi breath, or that ocean sounding breath, occasionally I'll cue you to see if you can just bring it back in. If you can keep your ujjayi breath through your whole entire practice, awesome. But sometimes we lose focus and find focus on other things. So we'll just call it back every once in a while. From here, float your arms up into a cactus or gold pose position and start to gently rock your head side to side. Find a small and gentle range of motion. And then as your neck starts to warm up, you feel a little bit of gumminess in the upper back and the shoulders, maybe you'll increase that range of motion, just depending on how things are going this morning with your head and your neck. Maybe your hair gets in the way, any of those little things. So just allow it to be a sort of natural range of motion that makes sense to you. And then keeping that head motion going, add your knees as well. So as your head turns in one direction, knees are going to drop in the opposite direction with those little windshield wipers. Start small with your windshield wipers as well, and then slowly allow that range of motion to increase in a way that makes sense to you. So notice how your knees feel. Notice how your hips feel. Notice how your back feels. And then once you've got a little bit of a motion pattern down, now see if you can call back that ujjayi breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose if you can, and finding a slightly audible breath. Take one more bit of fluid motion each way, and then the next time your knees drop over to the right and head turns to the left, stay there. Take one full cycle of breath. Inhale, head and knees return to center. Exhale, knees drop over to the left, head turns to the right. Stay there for one full cycle of breath. Inhale, head returns to center, knees to center. And now we're going to walk the feet in a little bit closer. So feet are going to be about hip width distance apart. Hands are going to float down alongside the hips. Move right into pelvic tilt. Press your low back into the ground. Release to the natural curve of your back. Which breath pattern you choose here is totally up to you. It just depends on the work that you're doing. Slightly more invigorating breath would be the exhale to press the low back down. Working on that pelvic health might be an inhale as you press the low back down. So you choose the variation that works good for you. Maybe you're keeping that ujjayi breath going if you can. Take 2 more cycles of breath. And then as you come to a neutral spine, we're going to take it into some baby bridges. So as you exhale, you're going to lift up about 1 hand high. So maybe you could slide 1 flat palm underneath your tailbone, and then inhale, release your tailbone back down. Exhale, you're going to lift up about 2 hands high. So maybe you could slip 2 flat palms underneath your tailbone, and then inhale, release back down. Exhale to lift up, maybe about 3 hands high, coming just a little bit further up. Inhale to release back down. Exhale to lift up, maybe coming about 4 hands high. Inhale to release back down. Exhale to lift up. Now we're going to go about 5 hands high. Inhale to release back down. And now we're going to move right into wind relieving pose. So right knee is going to pull into the chest. Left leg is going to extend towards the end of the mat, but let the heel hover. And then we're going to switch. Left knee pulls in, right leg goes long. Inhale as you switch. Exhale as you squeeze your thigh in towards your chest. Find a rhythm that works good for you. Follow your breath. Find a depth of work that feels good to you. So you can let your heel rest if that feels more beneficial. Maybe you don't hug the knee in as tight if that feels more beneficial. Any gentleness that's required, add that to your practice. The next time the right knee pulls into the chest and the left leg goes long, let the left heel touch down to the ground. Take hold of that right knee, draw it in a couple of gentle circles, go in one direction. Take that knee, draw it in circles, go the other way. Awesome. And then when you're ready, we're going to switch. Left knee is going to pull in, right leg is going to go all the way down to the end of the mat. Let the heel touch down. Once the heel touches down, left knee is going to draw in a couple of circles, go in one direction. Left knee draws in circles, go the other way. Nice. And then when you're ready, pull the left knee into your chest. Right knee is going to come to meet. We're going to take both knees, draw them in circles, go in one direction. Draw both knees in circles, go the other way. Let those circles come to stillness, and then just a light hand hold. Maybe you hold onto your knees, or maybe make a little basket weave so you don't have to effort too much in that hand hold. And then we're going to add a little point and flex to the feet here. So knees are pulled in towards the chest, just as tight as feels good to you. You might notice a light compression of the belly. Point and flex the feet just to find a little fluid movement in the ankles, a little bit of movement in the toes. Take one more point and flex to the feet, and then we're going to unlace our hands, releasing your hold of the knees. Float your feet up towards the ceiling in a nice soft legs up the wall. Once you've got that soft legs up the wall, so super generous bend in the knees, twirl your toes in one direction, just circling around, going one toe following the other. Awesome. And then take those toes and twirl them in the other direction. Nice. And then feet come to stillness. Left leg is going to stay nice and still, and then give your right leg a good and gentle shake. Keep that right leg shaking, but see if you can come back to that ujjayi breath, making that slightly audible sound as you inhale. Slightly audible sound as you exhale. Maybe you notice that vibration in your breath, and then let the right leg come to stillness and start to shake the left leg. See if you can come back to that ujjayi breath, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Take one more moment here, and then we're going to rebend those legs, catch hold of the backs of the thighs, and start to find a little bit of a rock and roll. Rocking tailbone towards top of the head. Take a couple of good gentle rolls, and then we're going to come up and find a little easy seat. So as you find a little momentum, come up to that easy seat or crisscross applesauce, whatever you like to call it, but find your comfortable seated position, sit up nice and tall. Hands are just going to rest on the knees. Inhale, lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale, tuck your chin down. Inhale, lift your chin up and hold. Pause there for a moment. Feel that gentle stretch through the front of the neck and the throat. You should be comfortable enough that you could still swallow if you needed to. On your next exhale, tuck your chin down to your chest. Keep your shoulders down and back. Stay here for an extra cycle of breath. And then like you're drawing a bottom half of a circle, we're just going to start to roll the head a little side to side, just finding a little bit of fluid movement in the back of the neck. Notice how your neck feels. Notice how the backs of your shoulders feel. Take one more roll of the head side to side. And then as your chin tucks back down to your chest, we're going to release our hands from our knees. Swim your hands behind the back, tall fingers. Once those fingertips touch the ground, lift your heart, lift your chin, lift your gaze, squeeze the shoulder blades, open your heart. Take one big breath. Beautiful. And then release to a neutral spine. Right hand's going to touch down at your side. Left hand's going to reach up. Take a nice big side bend. Lift up and release it over to the other side. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. Take a nice big side bend. Awesome. Lift up, take it right into a seated twist. Left hand finds the right knee, right hand comes behind you. Think about getting nice and tall. Soften that rotation so heart points towards the knee, and then take 3 cat-cows here. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. One more breath. Inhale to a neutral spine, and then release, find your twist over to the other side. Going into that deeper rotation to start. Take a nice big breath, get super tall. Beautiful. And then soften that rotation so heart points towards the knee, and then take it into your cat-cow. Inhale to lift your heart. Exhale to round your back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. One more breath. Inhale to a neutral spine, unwind, come to center, and then we're going to take it into easy seated forward fold. So lift your heart, hinge from your waist, walk yourself out to a depth that feels good. Check your knees, check your low back, make sure you're only going so far as that feels comfortable to your body. And then once you're at your edge, take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Come back up nice and slow. And we're going to start to find our way into a tabletop position. So you might choose to just pop your way up, spin your legs around, or come up into your tabletop in any way that works good for you. But then once you find your way there, pause just for a moment and check in with your knees. Notice your knees. If they need a little cushion, take a second to do that. Notice your wrists. If they need a little cushion, take a second to do that. But then once you feel like your tabletop is feeling good, move it into a cat and cow here. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. 2 more cycles of breath just like that. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale, round your back. Inhale to drop the belly. Exhale to round the back. And now we're going to add on. Inhale, drop the belly, curl the toes under, lift the chest. Keep the toes curled under, round the back, pull your butt back towards your heels. Inhale, come forward. Keep the toes curled under, drop the belly, lift the chest. Round the back, keep the toes curled under, pull your butt back towards your heels. One more time, just like that. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, keep the toes curled under. Round your back, pull your butt back towards your heels. Stay here for an extra cycle of breath. Beautiful. Lift up, release your toes, move right into puppy pose or heart melting pose. Hips are going to stay in line with the knees. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat. Let your chest and your forehead melt down. Take 3 nice big breaths. Draw your belly button towards your spine and then start to come up nice and strong. Walk yourself back up to that tabletop position. Right hand's going to reach up nice and high, threading that arm through and underneath. So we're going to take that right hand, thread it through, right ear, right shoulder to the ground. Take 1 big breath here. And then come up nice and slow. Press into your left hand, draw yourself up with control. Left hand's going to reach up nice and high just to create a little bit of space, and then take that left hand, thread it through and underneath. Left ear, left shoulder to the ground. Take a nice big breath here. Beautiful. Press into your right palm. Lift yourself back up to that tabletop position. Right foot's going to slide back, toes curled under. Takes 3 rocks forward and back. When you're ready, slide that leg in, switch over to the other side. Left leg slides back, toes curled under. Take about 3 rocks forward and back. Beautiful. Slide that leg in. We're going to come crooked tabletop. So left elbow and forearm are going to come down to the ground. Push slightly into your right hand so the right shoulder is slightly elevated. Pick the right leg up, lift it up nice and high. Let the foot fall behind you or fall to the left just a little bit so you feel a little bit of sensation through that front right pocket area. Take 1 good breath. And then when you're ready, release that knee back down to the ground. Lift into your table, switch your crooked table to the other side. Right elbow and forearm are down. Press into the left hand so the left shoulder is elevated. Lift the left leg up, a nice bent knee position. Let that left foot fall behind you to the right, hopefully finding a little sensation through that front left pocket area. Take a nice big breath. Nice. And then with control, release that knee back down. Come through your tabletop into child's pose. So big toes together, knees together. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Slide your hands back and see if your hands can just touch the soles of your feet. Make a little space for your belly and your chest if you need, and then soften your forehead down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. From here, we're going to rise up into a high kneel position. So as you inhale, you're going to press into the tops of the feet, press into the shins, lift your arms up and overhead, look to the sky. Exhale, bring it back. Hands are going to touch the soles of the feet, butt back to the heels. And then we're going to do that again. Inhale, lift up into that high kneel position, or just as high as feels right to you. Exhale, float it back, butt back to the heels, hands touch the soles of the feet. We're going to do that 1 more time. Inhale, lift up just as high as you like. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale to come forward into a tabletop position, curl the toes under. Exhale, lift up into downward facing dog and take a few petals of the legs. Readjust your feet as needed if the feet were slightly closer in that child's pose position. Lovely. Take 1 or 2 more petals of the legs, and then when you're ready, we're going to walk it towards the front end of the mat into a nice soft ragdoll fold. So walk your feet forward, feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, just whatever feels like a really good stable base to you. And then a super generous bend in the knees. Make some space for your belly and your chest. If it feels good to do so, catch hold of your elbows and invite a gentle sway into your body. Make sure your feet feel nice and anchored on the ground. And we're going to take 1 sundial each way. So holding onto the elbows as you inhale, take it over to the right. Inhaling up and overhead. Exhale around and down. Stay at the bottom. Take a little sway side to side. And then we're going to take it right over to the left. Inhale, lift up and overhead. Exhale as you come around and down. Stay at bottom, take a gentle sway side to side, and then fingertips are going to find the floor, moving right into 3 half forward folds. Inhale, glide your hands up to your shins, lengthen your spine. Exhale to soften back down. Inhale, lengthen the spine, hands glide to the shins. Exhale to soften down. Do that 1 more time. Inhale to that half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. And then just as you come to the top of the mat into standing position, give yourself a second. Get your clothes readjusted. Find your mountain pose at the top of your mat, toes and knees pointing fairly forward. Root down into your feet. And if you like, just for a moment here, lift your toes, spread your toes as wide as you can, and imagine the soles of your feet are straws, sucking energy up the legs, up the body, up through the crown of your head. And then once you feel like you've found that lift from the soles of your feet, relax your toes back down, but keep that lifting upward position. Shoulders are grounding down, firm up your belly, or imagine that your front hip points are pulling in towards each other. So nice and solid at your center. And then in this mountain pose, see if you can find your ujjayi breath again, that nice ocean sounding breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. 2 more cycles of breath. If your eyes are closed, take a second to open them. When you're ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back to a low lunge. Bring the knee down, toes tucked or release, totally up to you. Hand to the front knee, lift your chest. Pull the hip crease back, raise your arms up, take one nice big breath. Float your hands down, frame the front foot, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up, plant your palms, step back to a plank, but then right away, bring your knees down, gently lower onto your belly, 1 low cobra here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down, push your way up to a tabletop position, curl the toes under, pull your butt back to your heels, get a little stretch to the toes, to the bottoms of the feet, take 1 good breath. And then keeping the toes curled under, lift your butt away from your heels, lift up into your downward facing dog, press your heels towards the earth, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold, keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Lift from the soles of your feet, draw that energy up through the crown of your head. Take a nice big inhale. Slow exhale. Eyes open, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, knee down. Finding that low lunge, back toes tucked or released, totally up to you. Hand to the front knee, lift your chest, pull the hip crease back, raise your arms up, take a nice big breath. Beautiful, float your hands down, curl the back toes under, pick the back knee up, step back to a plank, but then right away, bring the knees down, lower gently onto your belly. 1 low cobra here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down, push your way up to a tabletop position, curl your toes under, draw your butt back towards your heels. Pause there, take a breath. Keep the toes curled under, lift your butt away from your heels, float through that downward facing dog, press your heels towards the earth, and then right away, release, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold, keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back, low lunge, bring the knee down or toes tucked, totally up to you. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, float your hands right back down, pick that back knee up, step back to a plank. Lower your knees, rotate the eyes of your elbows, lower with control down to the ground. 1 low cobra here, inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. This time we're gonna power up to a plank. Toes curl under, strong body, lift yourself up into that plank position. Take it up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold, keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, Hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften down, left leg back, low lunge, knee down, toes tucked or released, your choice. Inhale, lift your arms up. Float your hands down, pick the back knee up. Plant your palms, step back to a plank. Bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of the elbows, lower with control. Inhale up to the low cobra. Exhale to lower down, power up to a plank, curl the toes under, find your strength, push into your knees and use the strength in the back of the body. Beautiful. Take it up to your downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold, keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, we're gonna interlace the fingers, flip the palms, press them forward, glide the shoulders down, front hip bones pulling in towards each other, center is nice and strong. When you feel ready, press those palms up and overhead, take a light little side bend one way, take a light side bend the other way. Come back to center, unlace your fingers, flip the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers here, draw the knuckles down, squeeze between the shoulder blades, pull the arms slightly away from the back of the body, lift your chin. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, release your arms, come back to your mountain pose, anchor into your feet, reach up through the crown of your head, lift that energy up through the soles of your feet. Front hip points pulling in towards each other so your center is nice and firm. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel down, turn the toes out. Right hand is gonna pick you up. Beautiful, gaze past that left hand, nice and strong. Think about drawing that energy up the soles of the feet, up the legs, side of the body, out through your fingertips. Maybe sink just a little bit deeper into that front thigh. Once you found that slightly deeper sink, drop the back hand down, peaceful warrior. Lift your left hand up, look to the sky. Nice, and then from here, spin your hands down to the ground, pivot that back foot, frame your front foot, look forward, take a nice big breath. Beautiful, plant your palms, step back to plank. Lower your knees, lower with control. One cobra here, just as high as you like. On your next exhale, take it up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, interlace the fingers, maybe go weird cross if you like. Flip the palms, press them forward, shoulders down. Hip points draw in towards each other, so nice firm in your center. Press the palms up and overhead. Take a light side bend one way. Come through center, take a light side bend the other way. Come through center, unlace your fingers, float the hands behind the back. Maybe that weird interlace of the fingers here. Draw the knuckles towards the heels, pull the arms slightly away from the back of the body, lift your chin. When you're ready, release back to your mountain pose. Lift that energy up through the soles of the feet, up through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel down, turn the toes out, left hand picks you up. Find that energetic lift. Lift from the soles of the feet, lift up through the legs, lift up through the side body, reach out through your fingertips. Sink a little bit deeper into that front thigh, and then left hand's gonna touch down, right hand's gonna lift, look up towards the sky. Nice, and then spin your hands down to the ground. Pivot your back heel. Heart forward, look forward, take a breath. When you're ready, plant your palms, step back to a plank, bring your knees down, lower with control. Inhale up to cobra just as high as you like. Exhale up to down dog or through a table to down dog if that feels like a better way to go. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold, keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, keep those prayer hands together, elbows nice and active and wide. Transfer your weight over to your left foot, externally rotate the right knee, float the foot up to your calf so you come into a little tree pose, take one big breath. Release that foot down, keep your palms together, transfer your weight onto your right foot, externally rotate the left knee. If it feels available, slide that foot up to the calf, take one big breath. Beautiful, and then release that foot down, come back to your mountain pose. Anchor into your feet, reach up through the crown of your head. When you feel ready, open your eyes. Inhale, arms up and look up. Maybe hands meet chest, lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel, turn the toes out, right hand's gonna pick you up. Find that nice deep seat of that warrior two, but then draw that energy up from the ground, up through the side body, out through the fingertips, like you're reaching your fingertips away from each other. Gaze past that left hand, take a nice big breath. Right hand's gonna touch the thigh, left hand's gonna reach up, look to the sky. Pause here for a moment. Can you find that ujjayi breath? Nice. From here, we're going to take it into a side angle. So left elbow is going to come down to the knee. Right hand's going to reach up alongside the ear. Think about rolling that top pinky finger down towards the ground. So we want to feel this nice line of energy from that pinky finger down to the right blade edge of your foot. Gaze down at the floor. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Lift up into your warrior two. Reach through the fingertips. Sink a little deeper into that front thigh. And then from here, spin your hands down to the ground. Pivot that back heel through your runner's lunge. Heart forward, look forward. Take a breath. Plant your palms. Step back to planks. Bring the knees down. Lower with control onto your belly. We're going to bend the knees. Windshield wiper the heels a little side to side. One more little swish of the heels side to side. And then we're going to keep the right knee bent. Left foot's going to touch down to the ground. Reach your right hand back. See if you can catch hold of the blade edge of the foot. We're going to hug it in close to the butt, but wide. So think about bringing it towards the outer edge of your right butt cheek. So we want to find that like heel trying to reach towards the side of your glute. Hold it there for one nice big breath. And then when you're ready, with control, release that foot back down to the ground, switch over to the other side. Left leg is going to bend. We're going to reach back, catch hold of the foot, but hug the heel towards the side of your glutes. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. With control, release that foot down to the ground. Power up to a plank or push your way into a tabletop position, and then find your way up to downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine, bend your knees, push into your feet, inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center, keep those palms pressing together. Now we're going to transfer our weight onto our left foot and just slide your right toe back. Keep the big toe on the ground, lean your heart forward just slightly, and then see how it feels to take 3 light little taps of that foot behind you. So lifting the toe away from the floor and then releasing it down. And then once you've done about 3 little taps, slide that foot back in, keep your prayer hands together, transfer your weight onto your right foot, slide your left foot back just slightly, left big toe is going to stay on the ground, heart comes forward just a little bit, and then take 3 little taps of that left toe on the ground behind you. And once you've done about 3 little taps of that foot, slide that foot back in, find your mountain pose, anchor into your feet, reach up through the crown of your head. Inhale, arms up, hands meet chest, lifts as you look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, warrior two. Drop the back heel down, turn the toes out. Left hand is going to pick you up. Lift that energy up the soles of the feet, up the legs, up the side body, out through the fingertips, and then reach your arms, fingertips reaching away from each other. Beautiful. Take it into your peaceful warrior. Drop the back hand, reach that right hand up, look to the sky. See if you can find your ujjayi breath here. Beautiful. Lift up through that warrior two position, sink just a little bit deeper, and then take it into your side angle. Right elbow to the knee, ribs lift away from the thigh. Left hand's going to reach up alongside the ear, but then we're going to roll the pinky finger down like you're trying to take that top left pinky finger, roll it down towards the ground, gaze down at the floor, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Lift back up and through that warrior two position. And then we're going to spin the hands down to the ground. Pivot your back heel, come through your runner's lunge, heart forward, look forward, take a breath. Nice. Plant your palms, step back to plank. Bring your knees down, lower with control onto your belly. Bend your knees, swish your heels a little side to side. One more little swish of the heels side to side. And now we're going to keep both knees bent. See if you can reach your right hand back, catch the right blade edge of your foot, reach your left hand back, catch the left blade edge of your foot. And then once you've caught hold of both feet, maybe the ankles, maybe the tops of the feet, just whatever grab works good for you, keep this in a fairly soft position. Just notice your hand hold. Notice how your back feels. Notice your breath. You might notice that little bit of compression of your belly against the floor. Take one more moment here to notice. And then if it feels good, you might already be at your edge. This might be quite enough. If it feels good, just for one breath, you're going to push your feet into your hands. Hands are going to offer a little bit of resistance, lifting through the chest. Take one big giant inhale here. One slow exhale. And then with control, release your hand hold of your feet. Float your hands alongside your shoulders, curl your toes under, either power up to a plank or take it into a tabletop, totally up to you. And then find your way up to downward facing dog. Pick up your heels, lower your knees, come through a tabletop here. We're going to release the toes, walk the knees a little closer, toes a little bit closer, draw your butt back towards your heels. So start by finding your way into your child's pose. Soften through the back of the neck. Take one good breath here. As we start to find our way into our yoga mudra, if you have anything going on with your head or with your neck or in your shoulders, you're going to be super mindful and you might choose to just stay right at the forehead area. But if your neck is feeling good, head is feeling good, and it feels good to go a little bit further, you're going to think about where the crown of your head is. So in this softer position, just start by let your elbows be on the ground and see if you can just let your fingers find the crown of your head. A lot of times, if we just roll up onto the crown of the head, really we stay a little bit closer to the forehead. But if you can, find that top part of the crown of your head and then just kind of gently press into it with your fingers, just so you can, almost like you're making a little mark. Notice where the crown of your head truly is. And then once you've got a sense of where the crown of your head is, release your hands. If you're going to use your yoga strap for that yoga mudra, go ahead and grab it. We're going to take that yoga strap just behind and create a little bit of space so that your arms could kind of move freely away from the back of the body, whatever width works for you. You can also interlace the fingers if you've got that reach. From here, start by just letting your forehead find the ground. Your heels are going to lift slightly, your butt's going to lift slightly away from your heels. Notice how that feels. If your head and neck have anything compromising going on, this is where you're going to stay, or you might come back off the head altogether. If it feels good and you want to roll up onto the crown of the head, as you roll up onto the crown of the head, arms are going to fall away from the back of the body. Make sure that feels like a comfortable position for your head and your neck. We want to keep the head and gaze forward, so we're not turning the head in any position where we've got this weight on our head. Take one more moment to just feel that pose, maybe looking at the world upside down. And then when you feel ready, slowly, gently, mindfully release. Lower your butt back toward your heels, release your hands back, set your strap down and off to the side, and then come back through that child's pose. So arms are going to extend out in front. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then on your next inhale, lift up to your tabletop position, curl your toes under, exhale up to a downward facing dog. We're going to come right into a pigeon pose from here. So right leg is going to come up nice and high. three-legged dog. If you like, bend the knee, let the hip roll open just to create that bit of space. And then we're going to take that right leg and drop it across the mat. So right knee over to the right, right foot over to the left, and then any other variations that may happen there. If this is not a comfortable position for your knees, you might choose to flip over onto your back and take it into a figure four. But if this feels like a nice place to be, just make sure that back knee is arranged happily, and then start to come down onto elbows and forearms or into a reclined pigeon. Whatever further softening here works good for you. Make that space for yourself, and then take about 5 nice deep breaths. Maybe for those last 2 cycles of breath, if you haven't already found it, see if you can find your ujjayi breath, or that ocean sounding breath. Nice. And then if you're in that more reclined position, maybe you start to walk yourself up slowly and mindfully. Walk your hands just a little bit closer to that front shin. Lift your chest, lift your gaze, take 1 good breath. Release your gaze, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up. We're going to slide that front leg back to downward facing dog. Take a pedal or 2 of the legs just to kind of move around anything that you may have come across there. And then once you feel like you've kind of soothed all that out, left leg is going to come up into 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open if that feels like a good way to create space. And then once you feel like you're ready, left leg is going to drop across the mat, or you're going to flip over onto your backside and take it into your figure four. So any variation here that works best for your body. Take a moment to find it. And then once you feel like you've got a good position and that back knee feels comfortable, come down, maybe elbows and forearms. You might stack your fists. You might come all the way into that reclined pigeon. So any little variation there that feels good and comfortable to you. For these last 2 cycles of breath, if you haven't already found it, see if you can find that ujjayi breath, that ocean sounding breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself back up. Walk your hands in a little bit closer to the chin, to the shin. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. Take 1 nice big breath here. And then soften that position, curl the back toes under, pick your back knee up, slide that left leg back, take a couple of pedals of your legs in that down dog position. Nice. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands. We're going to roll down into a little ball of yarn. So once you've come to the top of your mat, bend your knees, pick up your heels, lower into that little ball of yarn. We're going to come right through a little bit of balance. So lift your fingertips up away from the floor, lift your heart away from your thighs, prayer hands to heart center. Take 1 nice breath in balance. Awesome. And then from here, hands are going to touch down to the ground. Sit your butt down, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right, coming right into our Baddha Konasana or cobbler's pose. Once you've got your position there, lift up through the chest. We're just going to take 1 little forward fold here. So lean your heart forward just to a depth that works good for you. Lift yourself up nice and slow and controlled. Right leg is going to come out wide. Hips are going to stay facing forward, and then you'll readjust your left foot so it feels really nice and comfortable. Once you've got your right leg out, left knee is bent into that revolved head to knee pose. So right elbow to the inner thigh, wedge against that elbow, bottom ribs pull forward, top hand reaches up, take a nice big side bend, reaching towards your foot. Does not matter if you can touch your foot. Lovely. Lift up with control. We're going to switch to the other side. So right foot's going to come in, left leg is going to extend out. Fix it up so it feels really like a nice solid position. And then when you feel ready, left elbow to the left inner thigh, Wedge against that inner thigh so that bottom ribs pull forward, top hand reaches up. Awesome. When you're ready, slow and controlled, lift it all back up and in. We're going to bend both knees, keep that nice bent knee position, curl your tailbone under with control, lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Once you come down to the ground, just give everything a second. Get yourself settled, situated, get your hair fixed up, get your clothes rearranged. And then once you feel like you've got a good arrangement, right leg is going to cross over the left leg. You're crossing your legs in a chair. Lift the legs up. Grab either the shins or the top of the feet, just whatever handhold works good for you. Pulling the toes slightly away from each other. Draw the knees in towards your chest and then release just a little bit. Draw the knees in toward your chest, turn your head to the right and release just a little bit. Draw the knees toward you and turn your head to the left. Release just a little bit. Keep your head in that neutral position. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, release, uncross your legs, set your feet down to the ground, pause for a moment to notice. And then we're going to take that to the other side. So left leg is going to cross over the right leg. You're crossing your legs in a chair. Lift your legs up. Maybe you grab the shins, maybe the tops of the feet, just whatever handhold works good for you. Toes drawing slightly away from each other. Draw your knees into your chest and then release. Draw the knees in towards your chest, turn your head to the left and release. Draw your knees in towards you, turn your head to the right and release. Head in a neutral position, draw your knees in towards your chest and release. And now as we unwind the legs, we're going to pull the right knee into the chest. Left leg is going to go nice and long, moving right towards our supine twist. Once your left heel touches the ground, take that right knee over and across the body, over to the left. Right arm opens out nice and wide, head turns to the right if that feels good. Take 3 nice big breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, pull the right knee into your chest, bring your left knee into meet, both knees hug in for one light little squeeze, and then hold on to your left knee, right leg goes nice and long. Once that heel touches the ground, take the left knee over to the right. Left arm opens wide, head turns to the left if that feels good. Beautiful. When you're ready, pull that left knee into the chest. Right knee is going to come into meet, one light little squeeze, and then we're going to take it into happy baby. So knees are going to start to come a little bit wider towards the shoulders. You might choose to stay here. This might be enough. You might be perfectly happy here. If this feels good and you just want to switch your handhold, maybe you just hold on to the backs of the thighs. Maybe you float the feet up, you grab the blade edges of your feet, the big toes, or any other grab that feels good. You might choose the ankles, the shin, whatever feels good, and you get a nice handhold that you can find a little bit of organic movement in. So once you've got a handhold that works good for your body, invite just a little bit of gentle movement. Maybe you rock a little side to side, maybe you move your legs, maybe you move your feet, anything that feels really nice and just a little bit playful. Cool. Once you feel like you've played around in that happy baby just enough, release your handhold and float your legs up towards the ceiling, coming back towards that legs up the wall situation. Keep your knees nice and bent. Let your tailbone be heavy, feet soft and heavy. Arms are just going to come out at your sides. See if you can come back to your ujjayi breath here, breathing in through the nose, finding that little constriction in the back of the throat. Exhale through your nose. Inhale through the nose, making that audible sounding breath. Exhale through your nose. Take one more breath. And then slowly just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and we're going to float the feet down to the ground. As your feet float down to the ground and touch down, just for a moment, notice the solidness underneath you, the solidness of the floor beneath your feet, the solidness of the floor beneath your back and your shoulders and your arms. And then ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to come back to constructive rest, which can be really nice and supportive to the low back? Would you feel like a nice big finish here would be to come into that reclined cobbler's pose with the knees out to the left and to the right? If you opt for this, maybe you just tuck some pillows around the outer edges of your thighs so it feels really nice and supported. Or you might choose that more traditional shape or roll onto your side or flip over onto your belly. So take a second to just explore where would be the best place for you to land. And then once you feel like you're there, give everything a second. Work out all those little wiggles. And then before you move away from that deep place of relaxation, we're going to scrunch up the body. So we're going to just add a little tension here. So scrunch up your feet, make your hands into little fists, clench your bum together, tighten up the muscles in your thighs, maybe feel your calf muscles engage, tighten up the muscles in your belly, even allow your shoulders to shrug or tighten up in the arms, scrunch up your face, let everything be nice and tight. And then when you take one big inhale, everything nice and tight. And then as you exhale, just let everything go. And then we're just going to do that one more time. Scrunch everything up, make it all really tight and tense. Scrunch up your face, scrunch up your arms, your fists, scrunch up your toes, engage the quadricep muscles. Everything is super tight. Take one big inhale. And then as you exhale, let everything soften. And then in that softer position, start to let go. Relax your feet, soft and heavy in your toes. Soft and heavy in your heels, your calves and your shins. If you're gripping or holding tension around the knees, now see if you can let them go. Thighs are soft and heavy. If you're holding any tension around the hips, if your glutes are still firing up, if you're holding any muscles in the internal organs so that you're holding in like you're holding pee, just let everything go. Soften the abdominal cavity, soften your glutes. Allow that softness to find its way up around your belly button. Soften through your ribs, your chest and your shoulders. Arms are soft and heavy, palms are soft. Soften the back of your neck. If your teeth are clenched together or you're holding any tension in your jaw, see if you can let that go. Soft eyes, soft forehead, soft crown of your head. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel called to do so, gently start to reawaken your physical body. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Maybe invite a deeper breath into your body as you start to reawaken. Maybe gently wish your knees a little side to side just to offer up a little bit of movement down into the knees, into the hips. And we're going to stay on our back for a moment. And if you like, step your feet in as if you're prepping for a bridge position. So just step your feet in so your knees are bent and your feet feel solid on the ground. And then readjust your tailbone, your back, and your shoulders as needed. And then once you feel like you're in a good, solid position here, bring the palms of the hands together and fire up your palms. Create a little bit of warmth and heat in your hands. Once you feel like those hands are nice and warm, we're going to rest them gently on those front hip bones. Close your eyes down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Offering up love and gratitude for the safe home that you live in, the roof over your head, the clothing on your body, the food in your belly. Bring your hands back together. Fire up your palms. Get them nice and warm. Once you feel like your palms are nice and warm, they're going to rest on the low belly. So above the hip points, but below the belly button. Close your eyes down. Take a nice deep breath in. Offering up love and gratitude for that seed of creation, for your creativity, your ability to bring love and light into the world. And then when you feel ready, bring the soles, hands, bring your palms out together, fire up your hands, get them nice and good and warm. Once your hands feel nice and warm, we're going to bring them to the solar plexus. So above the belly button, but below the ribs. Close your eyes down, take a nice deep breath in. Offering up some love and gratitude for those things in the world that light you up. When you feel ready, hands together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Once you feel like those hands are nice and good and hot, stack those hands right on top of your heart. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Breathing in love and gratitude for the love that you receive and the love that you give out to the world. And when you feel ready, hands together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Here, we're going to clip our thumbs, wrap the hands gently around the throat. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Offering up that love and gratitude for your ability to speak your peace into the world. Release your hands, and then we're slowly going to find our way up to a seated position, and then we'll focus on the third eye center and the crown of the head. So come up to a comfortable seated position. Take your time as you come up. And then as you come up, if you're wearing glasses, just take a second to place them off somewhere safe. And then when you feel like you're there, fire up those palms. Get them nice and good and hot. Once you feel like your hands are nice and good and hot, heels of the hands into the eyes. Eyes are going to gently rest into your hands. Close your eyes down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Offering up some love and gratitude for your ability to see the world with a peaceful heart. And when you feel ready, gently lift your head up away from your hands. One last time, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. And then once you feel like your hands are nice and good and hot, we're just going to rest the hands gently right on top of the crown of the head. Close your eyes down. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Releasing your hands from the top of your head, let them stack right back on top of your heart. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. Breathe in a little extra love and gratitude for your friends, for your family, for your pets. And then breathe in a whole bunch of love and gratitude for the ones that it's hardest to find that love and gratitude for. And when you feel ready, gently lift up to the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy, happy International Day of Yoga. Happy first day of summer. You guys are amazing.